Summer is jam-packed, and the heat is no joke, so we've got to prioritize hydration. With all the drinks out there, you want hydration that works. Liquid IV delivers extraordinary hydration with advanced science thanks to Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, vitamins, and nutrients. It's hydration for endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being. I really do enjoy Liquid IV, and it keeps me hydrated, and especially when I forget to touch liquids all day. So turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code BCC at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code BCC at liquidiv.com.
Welcome to the chain. This is the BCC Club. My name is Kendahl and Sarah, and I'm here with my favorite person on this planet,
Sarah Shower. Oh, really? Thank you. Oh, my gosh. I've never been someone's favorite person. You're my favorite person, too. But, yeah, this is the BCC Club where each week we go down an internet rabbit hole and discuss something. This is actually a part 2 to an episode that should have maybe gone out last week. What is it, part 2 to?
We had to do 2 parts because I was talking so much about unrelated topics. So the topic we were talking about is celebrity lookalikes.
Yes.
And so we talked about what is a celebrity lookalike. So if you haven't seen that episode, make sure to go catch it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's much. I mean, if you know what a celebrity lookalike is, you're probably safe to continue on this episode. We won't be too confused. But we're getting into the next part of it. But before we do that, how was your week?
It was really good. It's a whole lot of reading. We're just we're filming part 1 and part 2 at the same time. So let me think about updates. Naomi's going to Poland in the summer during Pride a little bit. Pride Month is coming up. It's going to be super fun. A lot of gay stuff.
Do you like doing a lot of Pride stuff?
Yeah, I recently bought a little like cooler. So I know that Dyke Day is coming up.
Yeah.
And we want to have sandwiches and drinks.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends have recently gotten sober, not by their own choice. So yeah, it's going to be nice to have people.
I mean, it sounds like you made them do it.
Oh, no.
They don't want to. I'm making them.
No. We all hit the same roadblock. But yeah, so it's nice to have a little gaggle of gays who are sober for Pride Month. It's just because Pride is so much drinking. Yeah, and I know that there are sober events. My only issue with sober Pride events is that they always choose 8 a.m. Like, there's no, I'm like, okay, we're sober, but we're not loons. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of stuff like that where you're like, I feel like there's a couple things where I'm like, I connect with this thing. Like, it would be fun to try. But sometimes the vibe of that stuff, or sometimes the people are not even though I connect with them in that way, I'm like, but the type of person who would go do that, an 8 a.m. Pride event is not a person I probably want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Not because they're bad, but because we will not connect. I don't want to hike ever.
Yeah, and I want to read in the morning, and I like taking my time to do my makeup, and I can't do that all in the morning. So, but also what I've noticed is if you're in LA for Pride, I love hanging out with the potheads because they also don't drink and they're more chillin'. The thing is I love people who drink too, but the thing is they get really close to you and that can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it can smell.
Yeah. But that's what are you doing for Pride?
Oh my God, not much. I'm not a big. God, I just love being in my house. Mm-hmm. I find that I get overstimulated very quickly.
Yeah.
I get so hot. One thing I had to tell you that I did this week.
Yeah.
That you reminded me last episode because you were talking about magicians.
Uh-huh.
I went to the Magic Castle this week.
Okay.
Do you know the Magic Castle?
No.
So it's a very exclusive magic building.
Okay.
It looks like a castle.
Uh-huh.
And you can only go if you're a magician. So that's why I was invited. Just kidding. You can only go if you're a magician or if you pay like a big amount of money to be a member there.
Okay.
Or if you're invited by a magician who's performing there, which I was. So I got to go.
Yeah.
And you just go, there's like no phone, so you'll put your phones away. Nobody can film, so nobody can see the inside of it unless you've been.
Yeah.
So it's you have to dress up very fancy. The dress code is really intense.
Like a cloak with stars on it and the pointy.
Like a wizard. You have to dress like an old-timey wizard.
Yes.
Or a court jester. Those are the only two. No, you have to dress up really fancy. And then you go and you just watch magic all night. And it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
am the exact person who would be excited by this type of stuff. I was not a skeptic going in. I wasn't like, let's see what these magicians have to show me. I was so excited. But I was more amazed than I have ever been, because I love to enjoy a thing for what it is. Yeah. So whenever someone's like, I'm a mind reader, I'm like, okay, I'm excited. Let's see what you can do. But I also can acknowledge when I'm like, yeah, it seems like maybe they were asking a leading question or they were kind of, but I still enjoy it. I don't need to, I'm not a person who needs to know how a magic trick was done. I'm not trying to figure out how they did it. I just enjoy it. But there was no need for that this night. Every single thing that happened, I was like, I'm literally blown away. Yeah. I cannot even begin to imagine. So we went to this one woman's show. This is one of the magicians we saw. She's a mind reader.
Okay.
I cried during the show because it was so amazing. She starts the show basically being like, everyone in the audience is like 100 people. Everyone think of a dream that you've had in life. Yeah. Any time in your life you've had a dream. She's like, okay, does anyone raise your hand if you're thinking of a specific one you can remember pretty well? Like 60 people raise their hand. She picks one person and they were like, no, I'm embarrassed. She picks another person. So it was not fake. And also these people do it. So it's not like they do it so much. Yeah. Like they're churning in and out the audiences. It is like, there's no way that every single time they have a planted person in the audience. Like it just doesn't make sense. And she did so much audience participation. It would have meant that like half the audience was plants. Do you know what I mean? It just didn't make sense. So you felt pretty confident. There's no plants in this. She's like, okay, come up. The woman comes up. She's like, write your name. I'm going to turn over here. Write your dream on this piece of paper. Fold it up and and hand it to me. It's folded up so tight. She hands it to the woman. You never see the paper after this. The paper's just in her hand. Like, it's so tight. She's not, there's no way she would have looked at it. And she just kind of like closes her eyes and breathes and then proceeds to, in the greatest detail I've ever heard, describe this dream. And this woman starts like losing her shit because it's absolutely insane. She's like, you're on a cliff in the English countryside. Yeah. The waves are coming in and you're at an event that feels like it should be positive, but you feel a lot of anxiety. It was like so crazy. Yeah. Then so that happens, which is wild. And then a separate person comes up and we all were supposed to write down, every person in the audience is supposed to write down a person that we love and a memory with that person. And we all fold them up really tight, put them in this bag. She never touches this. Another audience member comes up, pulls one out, who's just a random guy, pulls one out and looks at it. She never looks at it. She then proceeds to pick out of the audience whose paper that was and what it said down to the name. Yeah. She was like, it's you. You wrote about a woman named Sue. And Sue, she said her name. And then she said it was the craziest. And then she described their relationship. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. Okay, first off, you literally lied to me last episode. If this is all you're saying. I said a magician could replace cops. Would you stop for a street magician? And you said no.
I would be very excited about a magician that I consensually wanted to see. But I lived in New York long enough that anyone coming up to me trying to show me something, I'm like, absolutely not. And I have been approached by magicians, and I'll tell you what, magicians are like comedians where it's like when they're good, they're good. When they're bad, they are horrible. And most of them are bad. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about magicians.
That is crazy. You know, I do read a lot of books, but I'm very willing to believe a magic trick. And I also very confidently, if anyone sees an alien, I should be the person you go to with that information because I will believe you.
Do you believe in aliens?
Oh, yeah. I believe in aliens.
Do you believe in aliens coming to... Because, of course, I'm like, I believe in aliens. Duh. Like, of course, there are other lives. Do you believe in aliens visiting our planet? Because that feels crazier to me.
Yeah, it seems too strategic. As someone from the South, I've noticed a massive pattern of aliens always show up where there's a whole bunch of hicks. And I think that they can travel through time and space. So I imagine they're like, okay, let's show up in front of what society would consider the dumbest amongst them because no one's going to believe them. And so me being of the South, I believe you guys, you know? Yeah. It's so crazy. There was like this whole like thing that happened in Scotland recently where like people kept getting abducted by aliens and it never showed up on the news. And I was like, they just choose the most random people.
Dude, I know. I feel like the news is so random. It's all so sad. And then they'll be like, Also in Idaho, a 3-year-old can name every bone in the body.
Yeah.
I'm like, I actually don't care at all. I couldn't care. And we've interviewed her.
Yeah.
We're coming to her house. I'm like, okay. It's very random. I totally believe in aliens. But I also am like, the worst type of person is someone who watches a magic trick and like is trying to figure it out. Because I'm like, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't think this person is a wizard. Like,
Yeah.
that is not. And I think most magicians are not trying to make you think that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a art form. They're doing but some of it I just could not believe. I have no way. This one guy.
Uh-huh.
Oh my fucking God. I started crying. Jordan was laughing so hard because I had a couple drinks. But anytime anything happened, I was the person in the audience going, no way. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. I was losing my mind. This guy who I guess got second place on America's Got Talent this year, which is crazy, is a magician. He does this thing where he had us all text him things we would order on Amazon. Just like anything we would order online. And then, so hundreds of people it was a huge audience. Hundreds of people send the last thing they ordered or something they've recently ordered on Amazon. He calls a random woman up to have her scroll and decide who's going to pick. So we all texted it to this number.
Yeah.
And then you're on this phone with all of these things we've all sent in. She scrolls, she picks one. And within a couple seconds, there's already a box on the stage that has nothing, like an Amazon box on the stage. He then picks it up and he shakes it. The thing was in it. And it was like the most random thing. It was like the specific brand of flashlight that one of the people in the audience had recently ordered for some reason. And he had it there. I'm like, that does not make sense. Like, there's no way. That's impossible.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but like, that's cool.
It was wild. But it was one of those shows where I was kind of expecting to be like, I'm going to go have fun.
Yeah.
You know, like these people are going to do their little thing and I'm going to be like, wee, you know. But I was shocked. I was in shock the whole time. I like couldn't believe it. I could not explain it. How this woman could know. Because also it's like, but I think what she said is really true, which in the beginning of the show, I really took it to heart. She was like, we all have this ability to do what I do tonight.
Okay.
And I do think there's truth to like intuition like that. Because I've had moments, and I think everyone has, where you just get something so right in the most random way.
Yeah.
Or the other week, sorry.
Yeah.
Look on one this week. The other week, Jordan, sorry, Jordan, this might be too personal. I'll keep it vague. Had a rash.
Okay.
And this was years ago. This was like 2 years ago. They got this rash. They went to the dermatologist and they got an ointment for this rash. We haven't talked about it since. I mean, we've not talked about this. It has not been an issue. The rash was gone. And we were packing for a trip. This was recent.
Yeah.
And I, for some reason, went, by the way, how's your rash? It's been years since we talked about this. And they were like, why did you just ask that?
Yeah.
And I was like, I just thought about it. Like, I was just like thinking like, oh, is it totally fine now? And they were like, that is literally crazy. I was just looking for that ointment, a thing I haven't looked for in 2 years to pack on this trip just in case. That's so weird.
Yeah.
But it was like, I just was like, this story is not that interesting. But I just was like, where's your ointment? We haven't talked about this in years. And we both at the exact same time did this. I don't know. There's a lot of moments like that in life. I feel like we're like, that was so weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess if I learned to tap into that, would we be able to just fully read people's minds?
I was, so when I read the Collected Schizophrenias, the person was like looking for more mystical ways because they kind of had, so many antipsychotics, like traditional therapy. And they were like, hell, let me look into like, witchcraft and stuff like that. And they were discussing this, apparently everyone does have an ability to reach the liminal, which is the in-between of like, certain like reality. And so this person wasn't feeding into any sort of delusion. They were just like talking about like how there's this this plane of existence called the liminal.
And is this a theory or is this fact?
It depends on who you ask.
Sure.
If you ask people who practice this type of witchcraft, then they will say it's real. But I mean, the thing is I've had supernatural things happen. I think, when I was younger, I've said this story a bunch, there would be this cemetery that I always felt like that was my home. I'd never
and
been
you'd
to
bury
this,
yourself there, right?
and I'd bury it, and it felt. But the thing is, it felt like someone was calling me home.
Yeah.
And so I would literally it just felt so good and familiar. And that's but I mean.
Or there's famously those children who will be like.
Reborn, yeah.
Or they'll say to their mom, they're like 3 years old, and they'll be like, Mom, can we go back to Brighton Falls, like Ireland, somewhere, like so specific.
Yeah.
And they're like, I really want to go to this mountain we used to always go to and look at that hill. And it's like, there's no way this child knows what this is.
Yeah.
And then they'll say like a name, and then you look and that woman used to live there. It's like, it is unexplainable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a series on Netflix that it like goes into near-death experiences, and there's so many like respectable scientists who have studied near-death experiences, but like everyone's like they're not. Oh, they're hacks, or they're like people from all these top universities. And why studying near-death experience is so hard is because your body is dead, and you can't measure brainwaves or anything when you're dead, like because so you're trying to study consciousness,
right?
Which is hard to. It has no pulse. But they'll interview people who are like, again, scientists or doctors who've had near-death experiences, and they describe literally leaving their body, and it's like I don't know, this is like the dumbest example, but that tweet, surely not everyone was kung fu fighting?
Yeah.
I think about that all the time because I'm like, sure, a couple people, like a lot of people probably lie, but some of these people have their actual like reputation on the line. You think that they would spend 70 years researching something at Cambridge, and then some doctor was like, I got stuck into underwater on a kayak, and this is like a medical doctor. They're both lying. I'm like, there's no way. I would rather believe them. I mean, sure, some people are making stuff up for attention, as is, I mean, if you want.
As am I.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not actually an alcoholic.
Well, hey guys, summer's coming up, and my plans are as follows. Wandering around, maybe some light loitering, definitely a lot of reading on the beach. I've got 12 books just burning a hole in my bookshelf right now, y'all understand? But summer is jam-packed, and the heat is no joke, so we've got to prioritize hydration. With all the drinks out there, you want hydration that works. Liquid IV delivers extraordinary hydration with advanced science thanks to Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, vitamins, and nutrients. One stick of Liquid IV delivers superior hydration to water alone with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. It's hydration for endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being. And this is why I think you, our listeners, would really, really like this. I really, really do enjoy Liquid IV, and it keeps me hydrated, and especially when I forget to touch liquids all day. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. 3 times the electrolytes. All you do is tear, pour, live more. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. So turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code BCC at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code BCC at liquidiv.com.
Also, I think, I don't know if this will make... I recognize that, like, back in ye olden times, people probably had, like, just mental disorders, and the people thought they were possessed.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think there's something to possession, and I would approach it like, is this a mental disorder manifesting in an unusual way, or are they actually possessed? And so I would like to say that I believe in a little bit of both.
I think, too, it's like you go back in any time and things that are so normal now, and scientists are like 100%. Years ago, people were like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, I'm always like, we're not at the end of, separate from climate change, we're not at the end of, I think sometimes people think of us as like, well, we figured it all out.
Yeah.
Like, this is as much as it gets. So if we don't know about something, it doesn't exist. And it's like, there are millions and billions of gajillions of dollars every day going into research for things that we do not know. So just because it's not considered real yet, because to me, I'm like, science is crazy in general. Like when you read about, gravity, even the most basic, I'm like, gravity's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, all of this stuff is crazy. So the fact that sometimes you're like, okay, but that's really crazy. It's like, why? Everything is nuts. We are on a floating, what have I said?
Rock.
We're on a flat rock. What would you do? You find out I'm a flat earther right now.
Jesus literally died and rose again for us on this flat rock.
It's like we just appeared, like no evolution. We appeared. No, it's like we were floating on a fucking rock in the middle of a universe. Like that is crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We used to be salamanders.
Right.
Sorry.
That's right.
It's
So it's like, how dare you say
that people
that's
can't
too wild? It's like life is wild.
Yeah. I mean, I do think a lot of people in the Bible did witness aliens. I don't know if God came back to life, but I think when you read about a biblically accurate angel with like a whole bunch of eyes rotating around each other, I'm like, they just saw an alien. That's all they saw, these people in this field.
And like animals exist that are weird. Like animals with 8 eyes exist.
Yeah.
So how am I to think that on a different planet, this is kind of 8 conversations in one, but on a different planet, there's an alien. Because some people are like, well, I think aliens are, a lot of people are like, I think aliens are just people on another planet. I'm like, that would be so weird. Like that the exact same evolutionary thing happened on a planet with a completely different climate.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. If there are aliens, they do not look like us.
No.
That would be so weird.
Yeah.
Right?
That'd be so weird and random.
It'd be really random.
You know who does look like
an alien?
Maybe, yeah. I guess a human being is someone who's a celebrity lookalike. Sorry, guys. We're fine. So yeah, we're going to talk about, there's AI and celebrity deepfakes. Just a reminder, this is a part 2 to what we were talking about last week. Lookalikes haven't seemed to use AI to bolster their celebrity resemblance. However, AI and deepfakes have the ability to mimic celebrities' appearances and voices. And some lookalikes have admitted to using Facetune and similar apps to make themselves more closely resemble a celebrity. So this research is actually from about a year ago. And I know that there's actually so much happening with AI and that sort of thing. I know someone created this deep fake porn of Taylor Swift. That was actually very unfortunate. So people are abusing AI and deep fakes. And I imagine those are, they can be funny, but also incredibly harmful.
I was saying this the other day about people who are scientists that invent robots.
Yeah.
I understand that everything can have a positive. I feel like every single thing can have a positive effect on the medical world.
Yes.
So take that aside.
Okay.
People who just build fucking robots to be like, you'll see an article every so often that's like, man builds robot that can feel human emotions.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, because I could not be passionate about something that I didn't think was doing something good. Like, I can't imagine being like, I want to spend my whole life working towards this thing because if I achieve it, then what? The world will end? That's how I feel. Like, why are people making this thing? And I feel the same way about AI. I'm like, who was and I know the answer is money.
Yeah.
But AI is actually, that was the first thing that like came out in my lifetime that I was like, oh, now that's out and life will just be different from now on.
Yeah.
In a worse way.
Yeah.
This is horrible. And I know that some people are like, it benefits X. I don't care. I think it's so bad. I think there's literally no positive actually to AI.
Yeah.
That's my hard stance.
Yeah.
And deepfakes, but deepfakes have been coming out for a lot because it's so scary that they're already so harmful. And it is a baby. Both fakes and AI are babies.
Yeah.
And they're going to become so like complex and well done.
Yeah.
And it will ruin the world.
Yeah, I can only imagine what's going to be the first court case where a deep fake or AI isn't introduced, and I want to see if people catch it. Yeah.
It makes me want to throw up.
Don't.
It's the only thing. I'm not a huge, I feel like in general, in life, I'm really calm, honestly. Yeah. I feel like I don't have anxiety. I feel very just everything will be fine. With most things, I'm like, guys, it's fine. AI is truly the thing that I am this will not be fine, you guys.
This
is
will kill me.
This is going to kill us. Like, it is so scary. It makes me, like, shake when I talk about it. Like, I am so afraid. I'm so afraid of it. I will not use it. I will not go to any any brand, anything where they're promoting an AI thing. I will not go to any, because all these brands invite you, like, we're promoting our AI. I'm like, no, I'm not going to any of your weird little creepy robot events.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
It's so scary. I don't use the filters. I don't use the apps. I'm like done. I am so scared of it. And I know that what am I going to do? It's going to continue, but I'm not scared of its effect on me. I'm not like, I don't want to use it because it's going to take my information. There couldn't be more information of me on the internet. But it is just the way the world, even like you see people, I've heard one positive of AI. People are like, well, if you can't afford headshots, you can use AI. And I am like, that is actually, to me, not a fix to that problem. Like, having no money and not being able to afford things that you need to succeed is like a government and like an issue of the way our society is.
Yeah.
And you can't fix that by removing someone else's livelihood, which is like that of a photographer. You know what I mean? So it's like now two groups of people are struggling financially rather than like having the government. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So every positive I've seen about AI, I'm like, actually also a negative.
Yeah. I think I'm scared of. I actually don't know. I think if robots rise up and kill all of us, looking at what we've done, most of us probably deserve it. How they will discern who is worthy and who's not, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like even it's rather than, I don't even know if I'm not afraid of robots killing me, because I'm like, death doesn't scare me too bad. I'm like, just, it's okay. Take me away.
Yes.
But the thought of living in a world that's just so bad for the rest of my life is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at like, even and this is not even a way that matters as much, but I look at like, when I go on Facebook, I've talked about this before, and what a hellhole AI nightmare it is.
Yeah.
Where it's just people sharing photos of AI generated images. It even like ruins people who, like, for example, a cake decorator. Anytime I fucking go on Facebook, it is an AI generated image of like the most insane cake you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
And it's not real. And no one could fucking make that.
Yeah.
Unless they were like the most talented cake decorator of all time. But even in a subconscious way, it normalizes this level of skill that is unachievable.
Yeah.
And so now slowly it will just be like, the human excitement will cease to exist.
Yeah.
Because we will have no ability to be impressed by anything, and our expectations will not be real, and everything will just be fake. I hate it. I'm so scared.
Well,
Sarah, I'm so scared.
I understand that. So the deep fakes have been used commercially to mimic actors or personalities to save on time and production costs. A deep fake actor stands in for a celebrity, and AI is used to wrap the celebrity's likeness around the actor. So there are, I guess, practical uses to this. If it's the difference between deep fake it's consent. You know, I'm not going to be physically there. Use a deep fake of me versus no, I don't want people to recreate my likeness. Also, you can make a deep fake say something or perform something that the person would never do, and thus hurt their name, defame them, that sort of thing. AI technology, which this is scary, can mimic a celebrity's speech and voice. In January 2023, speech AI startup 11 Labs launched a beta version of its platform that gives users the power to create entirely new synthetic voices for text-to-speech audio or to clone someone's voice. There's an increasing number of voice cloning misuse cases. They're trying to implement some additional safeguards. While 11 Labs didn't elaborate on what it meant by misuse cases, Motherboard found 4chan posts with clips featuring generated voices that sound like celebrities reading or saying something questionable. One clip, for instance, reportedly featured a voice that sounded like Emma Watson reading a part of Mein Kampf. Yeah, so you understand how that could quickly devolve into something awful. And the thing is we already have the government has TikTok on trial, and they're like, so how do you use it? The For You page is just, so I imagine there's so many people in government and law who are media illiterate. So, this could just go downhill real quick.
It's so scary. And so even celebrity lookalikes aren't safe, because if you're a talented celebrity lookalike, it doesn't matter, because any of us can be a celebrity lookalike, because we can put a filter on our face to make us look like a celebrity.
It's true. It's getting kind of scary. Like sometimes people will put like a celebrity's like there's a face of like they put a celebrity's face on your face, and it does look kind of like you're dead. But like because only the mouth moves and the eyes just stare vacantly ahead. But I imagine like it's gonna only improve over the years.
I think we're gonna this is what I think is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in life, for my 24 years on this earth, which I haven't experienced much, but I do feel like things even out.
Yeah.
Because I think people have I think humans have a base of what feels good. And we are not born with all of this technology. This is not like normal for us.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen it like when iPads were big with kids. It's like the iPad babies existed.
Yeah.
And now you see all the parents be like, no, like most people I know of kids, they're like no screens before 2, which is even more intense than when I was a kid. Like I watched screens before I was watching movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But you always go back. You always I really think we're going to start seeing people just remove themselves from the internet, because I think it's going to become you've already seen people start to buy flip phones again.
Yeah.
Because I think the way it is affecting people's mental health is so bad. I think people are realizing and I think TikTok was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, because the way you scroll on TikTok is so different from any app, and now it's different because other apps are imitating TikTok, with Reels or whatever. But it just is so obviously detrimental and makes you feel so bad about yourself, because there's something about if I binge watch a TV show all day, I'm relaxed, I'm having fun, I don't leave even if I didn't get work done, I don't leave feeling like I wish I could just this is the worst I've ever felt. I feel so depressed. And I think TikTok and scrolling and doom scrolling in that way does have that effect. And I think people are starting to be like, I can't live my life like this.
Yeah.
And I think people go always way too far in the other direction, where you're seeing people start to be like, I'm gonna homestead in my house in New York, in my apartment in New York City, because people are I cannot live this way.
Yeah.
And even I'm feeling that recently, where I'm just like, I cannot live on the internet. It is too. It's like my brain is not meant to function that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think with AI, it's all getting to this point where I do think we're going to start to see people just kind of reject it in general.
Yeah.
And be like, this is too upsetting.
Yeah. I think, thankfully, I do know a lot about addiction stuff. And I think social media is highly addictive, and a lot of substances go in and out of style. And so even alcohol is on a decline right now. Sure, it's still a culture of alcoholism, but the peaks and valleys, and so I think there's a peak of social media addiction. You could see it. With the pandemic, you're inside all the time, so it's gonna peak, and then it's gonna hit a valley soon. And so I think how it affects different generations will be interesting to watch, because how you said people are dialing back even the iPad babies, and so it's just gonna be interesting to see how it undulates.
Yeah.
Do you like that word?
Because I do. I don't know what it means, but I like it.
Yeah.
I even think I saw some posts the other day about how kind of the internet is just kind of it's like bots interacting with bots, where it's what is even real anymore? And I think AI is so part of that, where it's what am I doing? Sometimes I'm scrolling on TikTok and I'm like, everything is a TikTok shop ad. Everything is then a filter with an AI generated and it's what am I watching?
Yeah.
Because I think the internet and it still is in a lot of ways, but it was we didn't have all this technology, so you were just connecting with other people, and that was cool to watch, where you're oh, I'm watching this person who lives in another country live their life and do fun things, or I'm watching this person who lives in another state that has such a different life from me, whatever, or I'm watching this person I really connect with talk about their favorite movies. That makes so much sense to me. But now everything is such an ad, and it feels so about the virality of it in a confusing way, where I'm scrolling and I'm like, why am I watching these triplets throw rice in the air? What am I doing? I couldn't care less about a piece of content if I tried, but for some reason my brain is latched on to watching.
Yeah.
So I'm really so it's interesting because it's no longer almost, I think the difference now is that it's not entertainment, because a lot of stuff people, when they're like doom scrolling, they're not being entertained.
Yeah.
They're just like can't get away from it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experienced that, but
No, I do. I think like when I think about alcohol addiction, like you like watching a YouTube video that's like a video, like it's a video essay that you chose. It almost feels like ordering a nice drink at the bar. And like you can
sipping on it.
Yeah, but like when you scroll so quickly through a lot, it's almost like screw
Shots.
it, give me shots, Four Loko. And so like you were like, I don't like this. It was supposed to be giving me this buzz, but at a certain point I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go to the, I'd rather just lay down, actually, honestly. And then maybe if I want to do this again, I'll choose something, more intentional.
Right.
I think, it's just kind of overwhelming us and leaving us a little bit mentally hungover, and we keep hair of the dog in it.
Yeah.
And just, But we're going to get to something else that just ruins everything, plastic surgery.
Man. Plastic surgery is wild. So some individuals will go to extreme lengths and get plastic surgery in order to look like a celebrity. A reality TV show was even created to delve into that pursuit. I Want a Famous Face, it was called, was a reality television program on MTV, which ran for 2 seasons from 2004 to 2005. The show featured young adults who undergo plastic surgery with the goal of looking more like a famous person. Celebrities that participants have chosen to look more like include Pamela Anderson, Jennifer Lopez, Jessica Simpson, Britney Spears, Brad Pitt, Ricky Martin, and Victoria Beckham. The show also features short spots on how plastic surgery can go wrong from people that have experienced poor health resulting from their attempts at plastic surgery.
Oh my God. Back in the day, they used to do reality TV shows for the worst stuff.
I know.
We had like Rock of Love, like The Flavor of Love. I'm looking this up. The fact that you literally greenlit a TV show where you gave someone plastic, like if you watch Botched nowadays, both of those doctors are like, if you come in wishing to look like a certain person, we're gonna like pass you along. Like we can't like do this because it's bad, like bad plastic surgery. The fact that they showed that on MTV and they were like, this person is trying to look like this person.
Damn.
That is so. Wasn't that lady who tried to look like Angelina Jolie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then she just kind of ended up looking like someone with a whole bunch of lip filler.
And I mean, people have died from it. Like,
Yeah.
I know there was some person recently, either from like ending their own life or from medical. I mean, it's just like so dark. Like,
Yeah.
if you were trying to do that, which I think is the slippery slope of plastic surgery. But it's like, I was telling you even before we were recording that I was like, being in this industry, I always knew plastic surgery existed, but you think you know what plastic surgery is. And then when you start to realize the things that celebrities have had done to them, it is one of the most insane things I've ever. It is plastic surgery you would not think was even an option at all. And you're like, why don't I look like that? And it's like, well, you didn't have 800. I mean, people who look, because obviously I think people are like, well, Kim Kardashian. It's like, yes, Kim Kardashian looks like Kim Kardashian has had plastic surgery. But the celebrities that you don't think have had plastic surgery and you're like, a natural beauty. No, they're literally not. I'm like, maybe I talked about this already, but I just watched a TikTok of this plastic surgeon being like, here's all the plastic surgery Emma Stone has had. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Emma Stone, a person I would never have thought about having plastic surgery. I'm like, oh, she looks just naturally like that. That's just, she looks at it. But they showed a photo of before and after of her, like when she did Superbad versus now.
Yeah.
It's a different shaped face. They're like, yeah, she's had chin implants. I'm like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Like the really, and that's what's so detrimental about, like in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Is not people like Kim Kardashian and Megan Fox. I'm like, that, and it doesn't. Yes,
Yeah.
I understand what's happened there.
Yeah.
But I think it's all the celebrities who just seem so naturally beautiful. And they are naturally beautiful, but they have had so much work done.
Yeah.
And you would never know. So you're just like, I'm supposed to look like that. And you're going to the gym trying to make yourself look like this thing that they paid $800,000 to have done, you know?
Yeah. No, that's true. Oh my gosh, have you seen Christina Aguilera lately?
No.
She got on Ozempic and she is rail thin.
Guys,
it's crazy.
What are we doing with that?
But I mean, where are we at with that, guys?
It's not. What are you doing?
Are you going to primary care physician? No, that is. I mean, yeah, it's like I do prefer, weirdly enough, a Kim Kardashian type because you can see it. But like, there are so many people where you're like, what the fuck? We're both this. But also, I want to get some Botox in my face.
I mean, I'm gonna get Botox soon. I'm like, it's also hard. I think this industry we're in is very hard, and it's like, you know, I think there is truth to like, well, you shouldn't do XYZ because you're an example for blah blah blah. Which I'm like, there's truth to that in some aspects. But also, if I was a firefighter, you have to work out a lot. You have to do a lot of things to make sure you're able to do your job.
Yeah.
And I don't need plastic surgery to do my job, to be clear. But it is weird that in my job, I'm constantly on camera. I'm constantly going on like red carpet events where people are taking photos of me and then from any angle I'm not consenting to, posting them on the internet. And I'm like a no one, but especially like people who are actual celebrities. It's like they're being photographed from every angle, scrutinized online for it. They are expected to be in HD constantly, a thing that no one else has to do.
Yeah.
So it is in a way. I'm like, well, it's a different circumstance. Do I think if I was like a receptionist at a dentist's office, I would feel the need to get plastic surgery? No. But I would probably feel the need to do something else that was relevant to my job. But I'm like, it is a lot.
Like
I just
nice
feel like a
teeth.
weird. I would feel pressure to have really nice teeth. I feel like it's a weird dynamic of like celebrities, like just roasting celebrities for getting plastic surgery, and then also like they are put in a position that no other human being is put in, which is like photographed constantly.
Yeah.
And then they're scrutinized for it. I just think it's a very bizarre. I just have struggled with that. Where I'm like, I have insecurities I would absolutely not have if I was not in this industry. Not because when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, hottie patati over here. I'm incredible. But yeah, I'm filmed at angles that I shouldn't have to see myself from because no one's supposed to see themselves from that angle.
Yeah.
But I am because of my job, and it creates these insecurities of like, well, I'm going to be photographed from that angle, and how should I, it's just like a really, famously a fucked up industry, but it is hard sometimes.
No, it is true. It's weird seeing yourself captured from all angles when you weren't expecting it. And you're like, damn, my posture is really, I gotta fix that. And then like, it's just interesting. Yeah.
Or like you're surrounded too by people who do not look normal because everyone is getting plastic surgery. Yeah. So then you're like, I haven't had no plastic surgery in my life. Everyone's like, we know, we can tell. But like it is hard when I go to events and I'm like, well, I have to do the same red carpet as all these fucking people who've gotten so much plastic surgery and I just look worse than them, even though I feel beautiful. But this is a weird position to be put in because I am not getting plastic surgery. Yeah. And these people are getting plastic surgery and I have to stand next to them and I have to go into an audition room next to them and I have to do all this stuff next to them. And it feels kind of like, well, I guess for my job, I should just get a new face.
I think, I think if you're going to get plastic surgery, it should be for yourself. I know that everyone could be like, what does that mean, really, truly? Because you wouldn't want it if you weren't influenced by, it's all, if you expect perfection from anyone, you shouldn't expect perfection from anyone. But it's hard. Yeah. I think we should be allowed to age with grace. Or roughly, we should really. I'm a smoker, so I just kind of am getting crow's feet by the second, and I don't know. I think the only silver lining I think is we are not beauty influencers. Yeah. Where I think there's some gray area that we have some flexibility in is that our main focus is comedy. Yeah. And so if we were like models or we were setting some sort of beauty standard. Yeah. We are not. Then I would be like, okay, so you should probably be, explicit, like tell people I had plastic surgery because that's the issue with the Kim Kardashian types, whether you can tell or not. But it's also they are the people setting the beauty standard. Mm-hmm. I think we're two people who just trying to survive, but also there's some nuance and gray to it. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. But I do want to get Botox. I want to get a boob job. I want to get Botox. The thing is I want to look like a MILF. like ASAP.
Yeah.
But I don't want the kids. You know exactly the Jennifer Coolidge type of person I'm talking
I know
about.
exactly what you're talking about.
Like it's
I think
like
you're there. I mean, you don't look like you look young, but you.
I need to be buxom. I need to be like big old. We actually are going the opposite journey.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I have to tell you the funniest story. Is so in January I'm getting a breast reduction, a pretty intense one. So hopefully just make no boobs anymore. I went for my consultation and it was, so they have to take a photo of you.
Okay.
For, I guess I didn't ask enough questions because I don't know what for. Maybe just for him personally. I don't know. But he had like a book he was showing me of results, and they don't. Their heads are not in it, but you're looking at all these people's boobs, and the befores and afters.
Yeah.
And anyways, he's showing me all this. So then once we kind of figured out what we we're going to do with me, he was like, okay, go with this nurse and she's going to take you to do the photos. I'm an open book. Like, I do not care.
Yeah.
I've had a bikini wax and I'm not like, I'm embarrassed. Like, I'm very open. Maybe it's because I went to acting school, so there was a lot of making out with random people and I didn't make out with this nurse, to be clear. But I just am comfortable taking my clothes off in front of people. I grew up in stage dressing rooms. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about it. But I'm aware of that, where I'm like, I'm extra comfortable taking my top off in front of this woman. I feel nothing. I don't feel embarrassed. I don't feel weird. But a lot of people would feel very weird. It's a very bizarre position to be put in, where you go back with this nurse and she takes a photo of you naked.
Yeah.
Because of that, they try to make it really fun.
Uh-huh.
So I went back with this nurse and they had a photo shoot set up with like lights and like a backdrop. And on the ground, there was a star that said superstar. And they were like, stand on the superstar sign. And all around us, there were these like stickers on the wall that was like lights, camera, action. And stuff like that for I just thought it was funny to take photos of my boobs. But she was like, they really tried to make it feel like you're in Hollywood. Smile for the camera.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
I've had people take pictures of me kind of naked medically.
Yeah.
I got my legs laser hair removal, but the thing is they went up to my pussy, and so the thing is I had my shirt on, but I had my legs pussy out.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like peeked out beneath the shirt.
Yeah.
And then they were like, pick up the shirt. So I was like, okay. But I was, I don't know. I felt weirdly comfortable of them taking me, like photos of me in
I'm very comfortable being naked. I always have found it since I was a kid. I've been like, it's weird we all wear clothes. We all have like the same body kind of for the most part. I mean, there's a big variety of bodies, but it's like, what are we covering up that I'm going to be like, holy shit? Like, it's just like weird. Like, to me, it's weird that we all cover up the same, because all of our bodies are different, but debatably the most similar part of us is what like we cover. I would say. So I've always thought that was weird, but the one time I will feel very insecure when I'm naked has happened to me 5 times. I wear underwear, to be clear. I would say 95% of the time. Okay. But when I wear bike shorts, I don't often wear underwear, which I get it. I'm going to get an infection. But the feeling of wearing underwear under my bike shorts makes me feel so claustrophobic. So I don't. Every single time I've gone to the dermatologist, for some reason, for like the yearly full body check, for some reason, I always forget and I wear bike shorts. So she is like, okay, so I'm going to leave the room. You can take everything off except your underwear and your bra. Okay. She says it so explicitly. Except your underwear and your bra, and then put the thing on over. And every time I'm like, I'm not wearing underwear, and I don't tell her that. And then I feel, which this is crazy because she does not care. And I'm sure this happens constantly. Yeah. But I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, totally. And then I'm not wearing any underwear. And then I feel like I'm kind of like surprising her when she like lifts up my thing and I'm not wearing underwear. And I'm kind of like, oh, surprise. That's my vagina. Yeah. Anyways, that's happened to me. And that's the only time my body I feel very uncomfortable. Maybe because it feels like she's not asked for this. Yeah. And I'm showing it to her.
It's not your body. It's the lack of consent.
Of consent.
And that's a good thing that you feel,
I think the dermatologist, I'm sure, sees this all the time. But it feels like, it's like, I'm not worried that she's going to be like, ah, or anything. I just feel like it feels like she told me to leave my underwear on, and I was like, I'm not going to. I'm going to take it off just for fun. But every time I'm like, I'm trapped because I'm not wearing underwear and I don't know what to do.
That's like the only time I've felt like truly embarrassed about getting naked. I was getting a tattoo on my hip, and the guy literally said, pull down your pants because I was getting on my hip, and I pulled down my pants the entire way. Yeah. And he's like, no, like literally just show me your hip. And I was like, oopsie daisy.
You take your bra off. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So plastic surgery is wild.
Yeah.
Will I get some? We'll see.
There
Time
are-
will tell. Follow me on Instagram.
There are some examples of people who got plastic surgery to look like celebrities like Tommy Sheldon. He wanted to look like Justin Bieber. He's a 33-year-old singer-songwriter who had 5 surgeries, spent over $100,000 to look like Justin Bieber. Nicholas Ryan, who was trying to look like Ryan Gosling. Nicholas Ryan is a 32-year-old aspiring actor. He spent over $5,000 on Botox. The thing is both of these people, one is a singer and one is an actor, trying to look like a singer and trying to look like an actor.
That's not going to go well for you.
Yeah, no one sees Justin Bieber and thinks we need another one. Like
No.
they're like, yeah, we want to copy his trajectory, but we don't need a second Justin Bieber.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I would say that's a disadvantage in both of those arenas to look exactly like someone else. There's also Mila Sinanaj, who tried to look like Kim Kardashian after releasing a sex tape titled "The Anti-Kim K XXX." Sinanaj underwent $30,000 of procedures, including lip liposuction, lip injections, and breast implants. She told TMZ, "I'm obsessed with her body and want mine to be exactly the same." Also, what's always sad about this is I'm like, so like the first person to look like Justin Bieber, $100,000. $100,000 is an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to say that. But sometimes, like with the Kim Kardashian stuff, I'm like, $30,000, you will not look like her. You simply cannot afford what it takes to look like these people. Like that's like with J-Lo. That's like with Jennifer Aniston. I'm like, these people are, I swear to God, using a plastic surgeon that no one even else has access to.
Yeah.
They're paying so much money.
Yes.
And you will not. And I think that's like a trend in life in general where celebrities set a trend that no one could ever afford. And then kind of the middle class sells their soul to get it. And then it's not going to look like that thing because that thing is unattainable.
Yeah.
And then by the time they're able to get it, it's like no one. It's kind of like the Gucci effect a little bit where it's like really rich people don't wear Gucci unless it's like they specifically liked this one thing they saw. But no really, really rich person is like buying Gucci, I would assume. But it's like a brand made for the middle class to use their entire paycheck and save up to get this Gucci thing to feel rich. But no, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's like very sad where it's like, yeah, big celebrities are not wearing Gucci. They're wearing something that is a million times more. They're wearing a white t-shirt that costs $20,000, which is insane.
Yeah.
But they're not spending $400 on a belt, which the person who bought that had to like, you know, not eat out for 2 weeks so they could buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a very sad cycle, I feel like, that happens.
No, it is. And I think it's an intentional thing that the rich do to keep the poor poor, to keep everyone down.
Yeah. There's also Lisa Connell, who wanted to look like Demi Moore. She was a terminal cancer patient. Lisa Connell announced that her dying wish was to look like Demi Moore. There are so many layers of this onion to peel. I can't even begin.
To spend $60,000 on breast implants, lipos. But you know what? Actually, I think she's more understandable to me than the other people.
The only thing that's understandable about that to me is if you find out you're dying, you probably go a little wild. Like, I think your brain, like, short circuits and is like, I'm doing insane stuff. I'm sure if I found out I was dying, I would do something bizarre. But to spend your final moments... First of all, I'm surprised she was even allowed to do that because I think if you're terminally sick, they're probably not like, go do a bunch of surgeries.
Well, I mean,
You'll recover well.
I don't know. I've never read about cancer, but I assume as long as it doesn't. The thing is they don't have to worry about the cancer spreading if they do like surgeries because it's terminal. Right. So like you could put an implant around breast cancer if the person already has kind of just accepted that they're going to.
I guess how I imagine it going is that if it's really, I guess it depends on how terminal, like how long she has.
Yeah.
Because how I'm picturing this is. I know how long it takes to get to get a spot for a surgery takes a long time. So it's a long process. She can't just pop in somewhere and get a plastic surgery like that. So I feel like she probably ended her, I don't know if she's alive or not, but ended her life with bandages and bruising where the plastic surgery was still healing. You know what I mean? Because unless they were like, you have 2 years, there's going to be a year of like scheduling, getting everything done, consultations, and then healing. And then maybe she has 6 months to look like Demi Moore.
I think that's pretty metal. I think she did respond to backlash by saying, I want to die beautiful, so this is my way of taking back control of my body.
Okay, pop off. Look.
I actually really, really like that.
Lisa, we love you.
The thing is you said, like, if you knew you were dying, you'd do something crazy. If I knew I was terminal, I'd start drinking again. Like,
what celebrity would you want to look like?
I wouldn't try to look like a celebrity.
But if you had to.
I'd get my boobs done. I'd get
boobs done?
Yeah.
But what? That feels like so much work.
What else would I do?
I would not want to be recovering from a surgery. Because that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, yeah, I might have nice boobs after. But like recovering from a surgery is a real bitch. And like you're going to have to spend some of your last months in bed with like draining tubes attached to you.
Yeah, but the thing is if I recover and I still got 3 solid months left, I'm going to be taking a whole lot of nudes. Oh, I'm gonna be naked on live. Like, I'm so serious. I will be arrested for streaking. Like, the thing is I'm not gonna waste the last bits of my life just like surrounded by loved ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
Screw it.
No, I want to do everything I haven't been able to do. I want to fire some guns.
Yeah. You fire a gun?
Yeah, I want to.
Okay.
I want to get in a tank. I want to get a boob job.
What type of tank? A fish tank? What do you mean?
No, like a big military tank.
You want to get in a military tank and fight? Wow. I feel like your core is maybe different than like. Your dream is if you could have anything, it'd be to get in a military tank and shoot a gun.
Not on the front lines. I just want the experience
recreational.
Of like I want to feel incredibly powerful without it being threatening.
Wow.
I want to go. Have you ever listened to this song? What's that country song? I was in my early 40s, had a lot of life before me. Live like you were dying.
Okay.
Have you listened to it?
No.
Well, what would you do if you were dying?
I think I would. You know what? I actually answered this question the other day. My partner asked me if I had like 5 years left, because it varies. If I had a couple months left, I don't even know what I would do. But if I had like 5 years left, I think I would move to the countryside and adopt 80 animals and just care for them for the rest of my life and read and like masturbate.
But is that okay? The thing is are you gonna rehome the animals?
Well, okay. Well, no. Well, I've had 5 years, so yeah, I would set up a plan. Like, here's what happens once the animals die. Yeah, they would get this new person would come and maybe I'd donate my land to someone who loves animals and give them the land. That's what I think I would do if I had a couple months to live. It's always hard because I'm like, wouldn't I be really sick during this time? But let's just say I'm not. I'm fully fine, and they're just like, you will be murdered on this day. Yeah. If I had a couple months to live, I think I would probably just go ride a horse and then go see a lot of movies and sit with my dog and my wife and like hang out. Not really anything too. I might skydive. Yeah. But nothing too wild. I try to live my life how I like it, you know? So I don't think I would go. It's not like I'm like, I don't like partying. And that's why I don't party now. So I'm not like, if I had a couple of months to live, I'd go to Ibiza and like do poppers. Like, I would not do that. Yeah. I would probably live very similarly. I would tell people they're idiots like a lot more. Yeah, I think I'd tell people how I feel more. Yeah. I think I would probably like call some people and be like, fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you. That did bother me. Yeah. Actually. My second grade teacher, they're like, okay, I'm not. But hearing this lady say, I want to die beautiful, so this is a way of taking back control of my body. I think that's actually pretty cool. But some fans of Kardashians have gotten plastic surgery in order to resemble them. We don't even have to list the ways. You know that they're probably the most copied people. So what do plastic surgeons and other doctors say about this?
Though it's common for plastic surgeons to receive requests for specific features of certain celebrities, it's rare to get a request to look exactly like a celebrity. So, like, someone will want, like, Angelina Jolie's lips, but, like, if you were to, that's fine. Yeah. But if you were like, I want to look like her actual face, they'd be like,
no, yeah.
It's kind of like tattoo artists, honestly. You're not really supposed to, I mean, you can be inspired by someone else's tattoo, but you're not supposed to copy a tattoo because it is literally someone else's art.
Right.
You know?
Oh,
and
that's so interesting. That makes sense.
Yeah, and so it's just like, it's in bad form, bad taste, bad practice. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, in an episode of Watch What Happens Live with Indy Cohen asked Kim Kardashian, do you ever get freaked out when people get plastic surgery to look like you? And Kim replied, I think people should do whatever makes them happy. And I think that people should also, like, be themselves and be an individual. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's so hard. I think it is kind of like, well, why would you get plastic surgery if you're not affected by what people think of you? But I think there are some things from what I've seen online where someone's like, I had this insecurity from the time I was 5 fucking years old to the time I was 40 years old. And I always had it. And I love myself. I'm confident. I'm in therapy. But I had this insecurity. And I got this plastic surgery. And I wish I'd done it 30 years before. Like, and I do think there's truth to, like, we do only live this life once. So I think in both arenas, it's like, don't spend your life hating yourself and trying to change the way you look. But also, if there's a thing that just fucking ruins your mood anytime you see a photo of yourself, anytime you pick an outfit, anytime you look in a mirror, and you've worked on yourself and you still just wish, it's like, pop off.
Yeah.
Just fucking you don't need to, and also just like anything, you don't need approval from anyone else to like do what you want to do. So I think plastic surgery, like there, you know, it is a gray area because I think like, yeah, I wish we lived in a world where no one cared what everyone thought, but also in terms of what you think about yourself. I think there is such a bummer when you hear about these people who are like, I love myself, but I've never posted a photo of myself because I'm so insecure about this specific thing that I just can't change about myself. Yeah. You know? It's a bummer.
It is a personal choice. I think when the higher you get up with celebrities, it becomes less personal, honest to God, because you're setting standards. But like on an individual basis, we can't escape the patriarchy, plastic surgery.
I know. You just have to be careful. You just have to be careful, like but that's like with anything. I think it's like if you think, I think you just have to be like, why am I getting this? Like, what is the reason? And if the reason is like, well, because I hate how I look. Like, I feel like getting this, for example, getting this breast reduction. One of the reasons I felt so confident about it was because I famously love my boobs.
Okay.
I don't like them on me. Yeah. But they are not an insecurity of mine. Like, I feel like I have great boobs. I've always thought anytime I've been nude in front of someone, I've been like, I feel very confident. I don't think anyone's looking at these suckers and going, that's interesting. Okay. I think everyone's like, those are pretty good. I've always been proud of them, but they make me feel a little bit of body dysmorphia. I just don't, they do not feel right for me. And I also, went to therapy for it, discussed it a lot. But I think that felt good to me, that I was like, well, I'm not getting rid of something I'm insecure about. I'm not, not that that's fully wrong, but I was like, this isn't something that I'm insecure about and I want to change about myself. This is something that just feels right for me. It doesn't feel right for me. Yeah. Rather than like, there are parts of my body I'm insecure about that I would be more hesitant to get plastic surgery on, because I think that could be a slippery slope of like, well, if I can change everything I'm insecure about, what else could I do? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know.
I think a lot of things are great in moderation. And, if you're like working on yourself, you realize these things aren't a quick fix, but like if you want to get some like extra work done, as long as you're not doing it for someone else, you've really truly unpacked it. And, it's... Yeah, dude. I mean, the thing is everyone always goes to extremes when it comes to like plastic surgery, any sort of drugs or alcohol. I know, eating, anything. So it's like we always have to say, oh, but don't take it. It's like most people don't take it
aren't
too
gonna
far.
Do that.
Yeah,
right, exactly. And it's like getting a surgery is hard. It is not something you can. It almost feels like it's very different, but similar to the conversation of like abortion, when people are like, well, if we just let people get abortions, nobody's gonna come to work because they'll be too busy getting abortions. It's like, it is hard to get a surgery. You have to go. First of all, even booking a surgeon is like so hard. It's expensive. Even if you had all the money in the world, it's so hard to like you have to do all these a bunch of preparation for a surgery, and then you have to have the surgery, and you have to recover from the surgery. It's like someone would have to be deeply unwell to become that addicted to that. And like that person is not the majority.
And here's the thing. At that point, they do deserve our help. Because if you are deeply addicted to something that is harmful to you, I'm so sorry. You actually do really deserve help. Yeah. So,
But if anytime someone has a cocktail, you're like, be careful. Yeah. One more. You're gonna go down this slippery slope of alcohol. It's like, well, no. If you don't have alcoholism, it probably won't be a problem. There's other reasons. I guess like with there's other reasons you could be like, well, drinking is not good in general. It's not good for your body. It's not whatever. But it's like, not everyone is gonna ruin their life drinking. You know what I mean? And I think it's the same with. And everyone has different reasons, and everyone's on their own journey. I'm sure there are people who got plastic surgery that they liked, and now they look back and they're like, well, I clearly got that because I was insecure. And is that the worst thing? No, that's okay.
And to bring it back around with your example of abortion, this is why we're pro-choice. If we were pro-life or something like, we wouldn't, you having your own ability to choose what you do with your body is probably what we're trying to stress, like the utmost importance, like sovereignty in your choices, and to be helped and assisted in ways and help you be informed, because at the end of the day, it is your body. We can talk about the larger, like how it affects things, but judging celebrities and individuals on the plastic surgery they do is not the same standard.
Yeah, or even, but you could do that with anything too, because I think some people were like, I'm a celebrity and I'm proud I don't get plastic surgery. And I'm like, okay, well, but you film a movie 2 months out of the year, and every day you have a private chef cook you vegan meals that are incredible for you. Yeah. And you have a personal trainer who comes to your house. So you're also not setting a standard that's healthy for other. And I don't even think that's your job. Like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But I think like plastic surgery is not the only way in which what celebrities have is completely not achievable. Yeah. I mean, even for me, I don't seem like I'm really in shape, but it's like when I worked at a restaurant, I never went to the gym. Like, that was crazy to me. And obviously some people are stronger than I do that. I was like, I am constantly so fucking tired. Mm-hmm. I am not and I work at the time 6, sometimes 7 days a week in New York City. I am not going to go to the fucking gym. I am so tired. And now I have a, more privilege where it's like I work from home and I am able to go to the gym 5 days a week because I have time to go to the gym. Yeah. And that is like, but so even actual celebrities have so much like, they look that way because they spend millions of dollars on their looks. Like they don't go to the dentist without getting teeth whitening. Like they don't go, everything is just so expensive. And so plastic surgery is not the only thing they do. I feel like, the fact that even I was watching, sorry to bring it back to Bridgerton, but I'm obsessed. I think it's very interesting watching because each season is based on a new sibling. So there's 8 Bridgerton siblings, and each one is like a romance novel about one of them. And you look at these siblings that eventually are going to have a season where they're the lead. And you like can't picture it. You're like, you just don't seem like a lead. Like, you're not like, not hot enough to be a lead. You know what I mean? In a romance, like you're like, you don't look like someone I'm going to care if they're, you know what I mean? Without fail, every time the season approaches, they have been given, I don't know what has happened. They have gone under what looks like surgery to look like the hottest person that has ever walked the earth. They're already attractive before, but there's like a difference between like an attractive normal person and someone who looks like the lead in a romance movie. And so my partner and I were like dissecting. We're like, what did they do? And like in Bridgerton, they always cut off the goatee, which that's an obvious one. Mm-hmm. Or not the goatee, the sideburns. They always cut off the sideburns. But I'm also like, they are getting tans. They are getting like what looks like lip. Something's going on with it. But there is an ability, no matter who you are, to look really socially hideous and look very, very, very hot. I think every person could look like a celebrity if they were given the need. Yes. If they were or not given the need, if they were given the opportunity and the funds and the people and the professionals. So there's really nothing to be insecure about,
Yeah. It's crazy. We could talk about, Mia did research class consciousness one time. So we could get into that. So let us know if we could revisit old research. But so basically, guys, try to look like yourself.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Be yourself.
You are.
You are yourself. And
for listening.
let us know if you look like a celebrity. We'll tell you if you do or don't.
Yeah. Send a selfie. Comment a selfie each person, and we will go through and comment privately who we think is correct.
Yay or nay.
And we will not share our answers. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry, I'm speeding through this last part. I have to pee. Worst than I've ever had to pee in my life.
Me too.
There's going to be a brawl after this episode.
Oh, no.
It's only one stall. Thank you so much for listening. If you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, make sure to rate us 5 stars. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like, comment down below. And thank you, as always, for spending your Wednesday morning or whenever you're listening to the BCC Club with us.
Thank you, guys. And we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.